Did I contact you?
Probably contact the town clerk,
Okay.
and then she'll get in touch with you.
Set it up.
Yeah.
I'll get your contact information.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay,
In the county directories.
okay.
Or if you have any problem, just call my phone and I'll call back. That's not a problem.
All right. I'll start with
I'm
it.
in there too, so. Yep, sounds good.
Have a great day.
We thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
for your time. I appreciate it. I look forward to sitting down and going through some of this stuff.
Well,
Thank you.
be in touch in March anyway,
Yeah.
and don't stop hounding.
No,
There's enough other stuff.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night. Okay. Now we'll open the meeting up. The note called by Donnie Hubbard. He wants to do a presentation, I believe.
Well, at least talk to you a little bit about something I got going. Good time as any. Wanted to talk to you tonight about community shared solar. You're aware from the Harvestfield visit of the larger 20-acre commercial solar places, the farms that they're putting out. But there is another option that instead of benefiting a commercial company, benefits the actual locality where it sits, hence the community shared. Downsville Central School is one of the closest ones around here where there is an off-site solar farm that they generate their electricity for the school. And from what the website said, over 20 years they expected to save about $1.5 million on their electric cost. So community solar implies for us it would be, the immediate Franklin area, not just the village, but any area around. And it operates a little differently, is that there is an off-site, and you can participate that by either membership in it, by ownership is one possibility. The other is contractual, where you look at what your history for use of solar has been, and then you would contract with them. They would become your provider. NYSEG still is the person that delivers it to your door, so there'll always be a service charge. Like with my system, even months when I make extra solar, I still have a, $14 delivery charge that I pay for the use of their wires when it goes the other way. Looking into this, I contacted the school and I found out their electric bill is about $40,000 a year. I asked at one of your meetings, and Paul said that you were the town between here and up in the village. You're in the neighborhood of 15,000. These are just ballpark figures. I did get the specific ones from the school, and theirs is accurate. And in addition to that, there are various businesses, residences, whatever around that, for whatever reason, can't put solar on their roof or in their backyard. They don't have the right exposure. They're renting, they don't own the real estate. There's various reasons that other people that use electricity might want to be part of it. Now, one of the things that's required for this is you need a site. And we do know from the recent, the opt-out provision, opting out of the law that exempted it, most commercial companies are not interested about coming into an area where it's been opted out because it will be taxed, and it raises the cost of operation for them. By taking community solar to a spot that is not taxed, that can be avoided. So that brings up the point that I want to talk about tonight. I know it was raised a couple of months ago, but the possibility, the town owns land right down here in Bartlett Hollow. That is where the old landfill was, and then it goes up over the hill to where your gravel pit is and whatever. And there's various land that the town does own. So with that in mind, I contacted Southern Tier Solar Works, who is the independent organization that is promoting solar. And I asked them, what do you have to do something like this and start the process? I have a copy. I can give it to you later. I made a couple extra copies. I gave Jeff a copy of, they did what you call a ballpark analysis. I told them the property tax maps on it. I told them what I thought the altitude was above East Sydney Lake. I told them what I thought about the orientation was. And a lot of that land is facing in a nice south to southwest area. Any of it that slopes a little bit more towards this side doesn't necessarily mean that it's not capable for solar, as long as the panels can be set at an angle that finds the sun. So you happen to have a site down there by the old landfill. So then my first question to them then was, if this is a landfill site, what is allowed and what is not allowed? And apparently, depending upon what uses it is already being used for, it can be used as a solar operation and has been done in other parts. They have seen where solar panels has been put on or next to existing closed landfills. It does not disturb or do anything, throw anything out of the soil. So that didn't look like it was a really problem. But there's still many questions that have to be answered, and so there'll have to be engineering studies, they'll have to go to the, obviously the planning board, public hearings. There's a whole litany of things that have to happen to develop something like this. The potential to take and be a strong economic benefit to the school and to help the town and local residents still, to me, means it's worth proceeding with. But what I need to ask you folks is to take, and at this point, engineering studies are going to run a few $1,000s. We know how to raise money, we know how to get grants. We can get by some of this. But it all would be pointless if the land was just totally not possible, able to be used.
Well,
So I guess my first question would be
Right.
just to give you guys time to think about it, talk about it, and is there a possibility of using it, or is it strictly, is it off the books that it can't be used?
well, I guess that's something that's gonna have to be looked into. Go ahead, Mark, you're wanting to jump in.
Two things are gonna affect that. One, if you try to put it on the landfill site, they usually put their pedestals 5 foot in the ground to hold their panels. Okay. I asked this, my stepson worked on those, putting them in, so. The other thing is, you're in the Army Corps, on the lower section, you're in the Army Corps easement, which you cannot put permanent structures in there, so that'd be a problem. But the other thing is, if you have vegetation, what they were doing at those solar sites, the vegetation, they're using Roundup and that type of stuff to clear all of the vegetation around those things. So you got the possibility of that stuff, leaking into the liner, for the landfill. So that's just a couple of things.
They actually mow under them too, Mark. I mean, just mowing is more expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else I should be aware of? Because like I said,
That's-
I don't want to beat my head against the
Right.
wall or
Right.
start in doing anything if it's just not, actually just
Well, I
stupid
know
not
at
be.
the meeting I went to, when Dave and I
You
went
went
to
to Hubbardsfield.
Hubbardsfield,
Yeah.
and the article I read in the Oneonta Star about Otsego County over in Lawrence, as Mark said, they're driving these I-beams, I presume, into the ground, and how far, and and on top of the landfill, who's got to specify how far can you drive it, to get the standability, and that's got to be the first concern, I guess, is I would think, could you, because I know Mark's talked before, they want that landfill used, but they really don't want to have it soil turned over,
Sure.
cut the grass, so how far can, I guess, I don't know where the liner is, how deep the liner is or nothing either.
Right.
That would be my first concern. And then the second one would be, I know at the Harpersfield, well, you're talking, who's gonna foot the bill for this, or is the company gonna foot it and get it back? I know at that meeting in North, or Harpersfield, they were talking, this company was, Cedar, whatever, out of California, they were gonna pay for everything. And then sell the power to local residents. But they were gonna sell it for 10 cents a kilowatt, and they thought that was a reasonable rate. Well, my electric bill is like 6 cents a kilowatt, is what the electric
Right.
cost.
But you're REA or something, are you?
No, we're NICEAG.
You're 13? Okay, mine's 13. I'm going to talk to him.
But 13, is that with the delivery charge? Or is that just your electric charge? See that, the delivery charge is gonna be there, no matter whether we buy it from a solar panel or buy it
That's
from,
delivery, but now I'm gonna have to look.
but I know in mine, yeah, the delivery is almost as much as electric cost.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
smaller users, it's more than electric cost.
The school gets theirs at like 6.3 cents,
Right, but
because I asked.
but the, you know, the other thought I had, you know, you're gonna sell this, it's gonna be generated, which, you know, I mean, it sounds like they, you know, it does a great job. But, you know, if you're gonna have to pay 6 cents for the electric to use it, and that's just what you can buy it from another supplier without the added cost of, you know, in your report here, you know, you said about so much a foot for the three-phase wiring and stuff to get it down. You know, and is there a, you know, is it 70% funded by grants and stuff? So the town and school and interested parties would have to come up with 30%? You know what I'm talking on the expense factor, how much, I mean, not the,
There are, basically, there's two ways to do it. People can buy in, you can be part owner in that, you
Right.
can own a fraction of it that'll give you enough, you think.
Right.
Or you just literally contract the amount of electric you
you
want
want it, right,
that meets your needs for what you do. Those are the two ways. Now, in terms of how's it done, Downsville School, the company did build it and then gave them a guaranteed price, and at that guaranteed price, they're still saving.
okay,
I don't, see, I haven't gone that deep.
right, right.
But those are good questions, Jeff, and that's where I can do my homework and find out.
Well, that's what the,
Yeah,
you gotta
but-
step into it to
but-
start.
Yes,
and
but
go
you
from
guys,
there.
but the main thing is, you know, I guess the first thing comes down to is that, is it worth looking into? If we can come up with answers to what your concerns are that are acceptable, then it's worth going ahead.
Right.
Otherwise,
Well,
there's no point in paying
the bottom
studies.
line is, Donnie,
Yeah.
is, you know, it's just like talking to the new insurance person. You know, if his rates are higher than what we can buy it where we're at, we're probably not gonna buy it from the new person.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you can show us where we can be green and save money, you know, it's the bottom line is what,
And I think
makes
for
anything
Franklin,
work.
it would be contractual, it would make more sense. You guys
Right.
know what your bills have been, the school knows what theirs has been. I don't
Right.
know about the fire company, businesses,
Right.
other things like that. I haven't taken this any farther than the
Right.
school at this point. I've talked
Right,
directly with
right.
Kelly
Yep.
and she says, you know, it's a long process to get this in. So this is something that it would take a few years before it ever came to
No,
fruition,
no,
no doubt. It took
it might-
Downsville 2.5, I think.
Oh,
for-
really?
Yeah, by the time they got through it.
so
But-
that was, the Downsville school did it all on their own. Their system is for the,
Yes,
the service at
Downsville School
school,
is
and then if
strictly
they
for the
extra, they-
school. Downsville was, that was put on before Community Steered Solar. It was a slightly different name to the program, whatever it was,
Okay.
and it was designed strictly at institutions. So colleges, a lot of colleges did it. Townsville is one of the closest ones to us
Right.
that did it. And I happen to know the guy, I worked with the guy in Walton that was a school board president at the
Oh,
time. So
okay.
that's how, I heard about this about probably 4 years ago or more, but it's
Right.
never, it's been fermenting.
Right, right, yep, well, it's been growing. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, and you know, anytime you can, as long as the numbers work,
They have,
that's the bottom line as far as
Sure,
I'm
they have
concerned.
to.
Yeah. I don't know how the board feels, you guys can, you know, it's land that we're, if it can go on the landfill,
Well, that's the first question.
I mean, right.
well, but there's a lot of land that's not direct, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I see, looking from the aerial photos, I can see where you've got things parked out there and stuff. I can see a field this way and I can see a field just, I'm part of that same, you got maps in there. I've got maps in here too.
The lower ones look like they'd probably be in
Back
their floodplain.
Since you guys,
Definitely in.
One of, the dump site is where the good sites are, I would think.
yeah, and I, no, so all I did,
Here's what we've done.
These
here's a
two
couple
are,
you guys can share. I didn't print out
Down
all
on the
the copies.
bottom.
those two are definitely in the flood easement. Okay, so they would.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I looked at the topo maps, and topo map 1,200 feet where it hits Route 357, just about curled. I wondered if that went underwater. I doubted that your gravel did, or was already in. It was under. Oh, I wasn't sure.
Well,
Well, 2006 was also the biggest it's ever going to get, so it is under.
It's been under, since I've been here, 4 times. Since it's been under.
Yeah, but this, is this here, the top part?
But this one is partially in there.
But these, like I say, basically for this size system, to do what we anticipate from what they said, it would be 5 to 7 acres, and we can get that from over here.
Where that is the landfill.
Gotcha, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's
just a
any
start.
high spots here is gravel that we mine.
At some point in time, you're gonna want.
Yeah, so what doesn't flood is usually.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Basically, this down here, right now, it's what it's in a flood. All the rest of this back up through here, it's gonna be lined out.
Just couldn't tell from the boat. That's why, I had never driven out there.
So really going
The
back.
only things that they're gonna be able to use.
You go down through there, there's
These
kind of
two,
a road that goes
and
out.
this one's out because
Yeah, and this is all asphalt.
from anything I learned about the salt, they don't know anything.
Some of the stuff. On the map, the map had it coming out there, maybe it was there. I didn't go through the rest.
This is four acres here.
But anyway, no, this is not to be dangerous, that's all I just wanted to start the process.
That's what we're gonna find out.
So in that case, I say,
No, you're gonna be.
it's gonna automatically switch back and forth.
No, it's not connected to your.
So it's something that's gotta be.
Right, it's like your farm, your farm is connected to the NICEAG line.
That'd be the first step, to figure that out.
And you're gonna get all your.
And if that would happen,
It's delivered.
They pay nice, you pay nice, they pay.
what's the liability that will be?
Well, that's what my question was on it.
Your bill is.
They get paid, NICEAG,
Well, as
solar
town,
farm,
we insist on that bond.
they sell electricity to
Fast, you work in their head.
and do they, they have to put a computer on the thing somehow to figure out how
Well, at least we got discussion
much
going,
of the
right?
electricity for solar.
Yeah, I had a.
No,
I don't have any.
There you go.
I'll bet you can also see full of in that's Timmy's daughter. Timmy's daughter, yeah.
Timmy's daughter.
Me, Tori. Well, the daughter's Tori.
So Jeff, I know more than I did before I came tonight,
Right.
because I know some parcels now that just are not feasible, so
Right,
that's,
right.
so I chase this rabbit further down the hole, is it worth?
Well, the biggest hole you gotta find, I think, Donnie, is DEC, whoever oversees the
Yeah.
dump. The dump site,
Yeah,
because that's
What
a
can we
third
do?
of the area.
yeah,
And if they say, yeah, you can drive the pylons down,
or maybe
No.
they do like the neighbor down here's got them setting on, I don't know how they.
right, right.
Most
But
of them are poles where you see them commercially.
Most-
This is not gonna be commercial, so maybe it's different, I don't know.
I don't know either,
Yeah.
Most of them that they do now, according to what Garrett said, was, they do a 5-foot hole, concrete them in, they use like a sonnet tube, concrete them in and stuff, so like that liner is like at right around 3 foot
Oh.
below.
Okay, well, that's
So we won't
good to
be able
know.
drive anything, but DEC would, whoever, would that be who you get a hold of, Mark? Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that I used to deal with, he's retired, but I can look back and find some numbers and they'll
Appreciate it, yeah,
That's
I'm in
it.
the book, give me a buzz, leave a message if I'm not right there. All right, I can,
That's all a separate division.
yeah, because I'm gonna say, I know people in Stanford, but that's a totally different division, I'm sure.
Yeah, this comes out of Schenectady.
Okay,
But that'd be the first, you know, if it could be built on it.
Yeah, but at this point, like I say, it's not like you're gonna say, no way, Jose, we would
Right.
never consider this. As long as it's money-making and as long as it meets the rules and regulations of all things concerned, it's worth
Right.
investigating. That's all I really need to know tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
it's,
now I'm good.
yep, no, that's, I
Well,
think
not
that's a
good,
feeling
I'm okay.
anyway. You know, make sure it's feasible. And go from there. Okay, is there any other?
Well, the only other thing too, Don, is I know that the town got a letter from the people that live right in front of this one field. And they claimed in that letter that supposedly this was supposed to be left as an open field. Someone told them that, which I am not sure where they got that information, but the town has that letter. So you might wanna speak with them and see where their information came from on that.
One of the things that DEC wanted out of those pieces was them to be farmed, you know, so it looked like something was being done with it, it's, you know, being refurbished and that type of thing.
Utilized.
Yep.
The best way to see if a landfill is leaking is if stuff doesn't grow. So if you're constantly growing stuff, it shows that the land is, you know, it's a healthy situation.
But no, I can check on that and see what's the basis, if any of that. I don't know.
Any more questions? Concerns? Okay, I guess, anybody else have any questions? And if we don't get a response from the high school children, or kids, grown-ups, whatever, we can't sign their papers.
Any questions? Mallory? No? Okay.
Who's your spokesman?
We're kidding, we're kidding.
They start looking at each
Yeah, they start looking back. We gotta go fast. That's what I'm here for.
You're gonna have an impromptu election back here.
Yes.
I just wanted to, again, say thank you to Mark. You guys should give lessons to the Delaware County Highway Department on how to take care of our roads. You really do a good job. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to hear.
So any questions from anybody? Okay,
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
okay. All in favor?
I, oh,
Oh, that's right, yeah, Mark.
Okay. Renege that.
We gotta renege that.
Motion to go into executive.
I make a motion to go into executive session. Withdraw
Really
my,
means the same.
Okay, that's what you really meant.
I
It
second
really
it.
means the same.
withdraw my motion to adjourn.
And if you'd like to have your paperwork signed, come on up. I was just kidding.